Beyond. Shabbat Shalom. Wonderful to be together with all of you, to have enjoyed the wonderful Simone Vitale Band, who has helped to beautify our service and get us in the mood for Shabbat to begin. And it's really just been a treat already to rehearse and get a chance to work with them. And, it's great to have you all here. For those who've made the choice to tune in from home, it's great to have you as well. You know, even in inclement weather, it's impossible to ignore the majesty of what's going on outside. And so we recognize that with creation, there is beauty and God's presence at all times. And we turn in our prayer books to page 213 as we begin our service with the words of Beyond.
May your wonder be celebrated. May your name be consecrated. May your brilliance never fade from the magnificent world you made. May your ways prevail in our own days, in our own lives, and in the life of all Israel.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. I spent yesterday afternoon at the recording studio with our cantors who are creating the new Shabbat album for Temple Israel. It's going to be amazing. And before I left, I said, well, why don't you let me play guitar on one of the tracks? And they said no. And so I said, well, why don't you do what you did last time and let me play the guitar and record it, but then turn it down so low in the mix that nobody will ever hear it? And they still said no. But one guitar you would never want to turn down in the mix is the guitar of Simone Vitale, or any of his amazing band members who are here to beautify our service. And I just want to begin by saying what a blessing it is to have you here at this service. You all are amazing, truly. Another amazing person in our congregation is Cheryl Bachnick, and even more amazing are her grandchildren because they're in from New York. And so we're going to call them up as we turn to page 13 for the lighting of the Shabbos candles.
flickering flames of the Shabbat candles mark this moment as sacred time, a time of warmth as our community joins together in prayer, a time of brightness as our spirits are lifted by the melodies of our people, a time of light as we look toward the future through the eyes of our children. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, eternal source of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot and commands us the lights of Shabbat.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Service continues on page 34 with Lecha Dodi.
שלום, עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצולה, תוך אמוני הסגולה,
Shabbat.
Cantor Michaels mentioned that he'd like me to lead the prayer on page 41. The only problem is that there are two prayers on page 41, so we're going to guess. Eeny, meeny, miny. Please, do you want to point to which one? The bottom one. We're going with the bottom one. May these prayers change me. This community work through my spirit. May the symbols around me shine in my heart. The words of Torah light up my eyes. May these friendships flow through me like a wave. This family move me like a full moon.
We rise together on page 44.
Baruch hu et Adonai hamevorach. Baruch Adonai hamevorach le'olam le'olam va'ed. Hamevorach hamevorach le'olam va'ed. Everyone, la 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 la. Hamevorach hamevorach le'olam va'ed. Hamevorach hamevorach le'olam va'ed. Le'olam va'ed. Le'olam va'ed.
We continue together in the middle of page 45. Our kind deeds are used by God as seed for the planting of trees in the Garden of Eden. Thus, each of us, by our deeds, has the power to create our own paradise. Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. Blessed are you, O God, who makes the evening fall. We turn in our prayer book now to page 55. But I want to tell you about a moment at camp where I just got back from camp and had the opportunity to spend 12 days at 6 Point Sports Academy. Just ask my kids, they just love it when both their parents go to camp with them. Not at all. And but one of the best parts of camp each day was when, at the end of the day, the community comes together and they create one big circle around the gym, put their arms around each other, and sing the words of the Shema. And while it's a prayer that reminds us of God's oneness, it was really a prayer that brought us all together as one. And it reminded us of everything that we have in common, everything that's important to us, everything that we value, and how much we share those values. And so as we sing the Shema together, page 55, maybe you'll put your arm around the person next to you and find that which unites us as one community.
Shema, Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Eloheinu
Adonai Echad, Adonai Echad. Shema, Shema Yisrael, Adonai ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
As we prepare for the Micha Mocha, we turn to page 62, and we recognize that this is the prayer that reminds us of the miracles of our lives. And we have these small miracles, like one of the prayers here says the baby cooing and and little moments of our lives. But then there are the really big miracles, like the sea, which this moment takes us to, or landing on the moon. 50 years since we sent Apollo 11 to the moon, and that is a big miracle. And so in this moment of our prayer service, we recognize these great big miracles that we're able to achieve, and the little miracles of our everyday that bring us joy, bring us happiness, and bring us faith. Again, page 62 for Micha Mocha.
Who is like you?
הקודש, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה. יאללה לה לה, יאללה לה לה לה, יאללה לה 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 לה, יאללה לה לה לה, יאללה לה לה. ונאמר כי פד אדוני את יעקב, וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני, גאל ישראל.
And so we turn now to the middle of page 64 as we read together. Cause us, our Creator, to lie down in peace, and raise us up, O sovereign God, to renewed life and peace. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Guide us with your good counsel, and be our shield of mercy and of peace. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. Blessed are you, Adonai, whose shelter of peace is spread over us, over all your people Israel, and over Jerusalem.
השיבנו אדוני, אלוהינו לשלום, והעמידנו מרגנו לחיים. השכיבנו sovereign God, to renewed life and peace. Ashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, ve'hamidenu malkeinu lechayim.
continuing with the Amidah on page 68. Feel free to stand, feel free to dance as we begin this prayer together.
מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיה הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר, מי כמוך בגבורות, ומדום מלך, מלך ממית ומלך מחיה ומצמיח ישועה ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיה הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. As you're seated, we pray silently. עושה שלום במרומה, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. עושה שלום במרומה, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. עושה שלום במרומה, שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. עושה שלום במרומה, שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל
I've been with many people who are in situations where the road is long. They have a long medical journey ahead of them. And I always ask the dumbest question. I say, what can I do? That's not really a good question, right? It's not so productive. I'm not a doctor. I can't fix them. But almost inevitably, they look at me and they say, you can pray. And I answer, I can do that. And I think it's always so much nicer when we can do it all together.
And so we sing the Mishabera, we gather our love and our prayers and our energy, and send it to those who are in need of a healing of body and spirit, on page 72.
Of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of, and let us say Amen.
At any given time, so it is said, there are 36 people alive in our world who are completely good. They may be very different from one another, leading completely different lives, but they are modest, compassionate, kind, giving, and each and every day, they make the world a better place just by being themselves. These 36 people are known as the Lamed Vavniks, and even they don't know who they are. In fact, tradition teaches us that should a person claim to be one of the 36, that is proof positive that he or she certainly is not one. Since these people are each exemplars of humility, they are simply too humble to believe that they are one of the chosen few. They don't know. None of us do, but God does. And our tradition teaches that it is because of these special people that the world exists today. Let me explain. Now, in our sacred text, there have been a few times when humanity has gone haywire, when no prophet, no threat, no leader could bring them back from the brink of destruction. There was Noah, who, with his family, were the lone survivors of the great flood brought on by corruption, immorality, and the destructive nature of his peers. There were Sodom and Gomorrah, two cities so overrun with evil that God decides to burn them to the ground. Now, in this story, Abraham speaks up, arguing with God that the city should be spared. If he could only find 50 righteous people in these cities, he begs God, would you still destroy them? God agrees to spare the city for the sake of 50. But what if I can only find 45? God agrees. What about 40? Okay, but what about 30? 20? 10? Abraham pleads with God for 10. Would you have mercy, saving the lives of thousands for the sake of 10 righteous souls? God agrees. And while all of you know the rest of the story, fire and brimstone, all that jazz, since Abe couldn't even find 10 good folks in Sodom and Gomorrah, there is this sense that even in an immoral world, a broken world, humanity would be spared for the sake of a few good people. And so now, we have this vision of the 36. So I know a lot of good people in this world, great people, in fact, who work tirelessly for others, often at their own expense, some of whom are even sitting in the congregation tonight. But I want you all to think for a moment. See if you can bring to mind a person you've come across in your life who is somehow different, who shines brightly,
who is authentic in their goodness, their righteousness, and uses every ounce of their being to truly act as God's partner on earth. How many of you can actually picture someone you've met? I can only think of one. So right before my senior year of high school, my family moved from Texas to Maryland to be closer to my aging grandparents. Now it sounds pretty traumatic, but really it was an adventure. And I got to meet all these new people, spend time with my extended family, and I met this super cute boy in the parking lot of my new school who I ended up marrying. Now, in addition to finding my basheret, I met Jerry Link, who taught science to 15-year-olds. And what I didn't know then, but I am certain of now, is that Mr. Link is a Lamed Vavnik. Mr. Link was and continues to be this amazing teacher, even after his retirement. There was this unbelievable effort and energy that he put into every single day. You never knew what to expect when you walked into his classroom. He was the most creative, the most engaging, the most inspiring teacher that each and every student in his classes ever had. But more than teaching the material, Mr. Link saw kids for who they really were. He celebrated each accomplishment, each birthday, each strength, each triumph, no matter how small. And he developed real relationships with scores of students, and he continues to mentor them decades later. Now, I didn't have Mr. Link as a teacher. My sisters did. That cute boy in the parking lot who is now home wrangling my toddlers did. He changed their lives. But through the blessing of social media, even though he wasn't my teacher, I see him, and I want you all to see him too. Because every single day, every day, Jerry Link is Lamed Vavniking all over the place. So there he is on the right, Jerry Link, you can see his name tag. And in this picture, he's serving as part of an honor guard. Jerry Link accompanies World War II veterans on their flights to DC and then takes them to the memorials for the wars in which they've served. In this picture, he's driving an elderly rescue dog to her new home across the country, which he does also on a regular basis. And here, he's delivering boxes and boxes of donated books that he collected to the classrooms of former students so they can send them home with kids who might not have any books to read over the summer. Twice a year, Jerry Link volunteers to help throw parties for Holocaust survivors through his local Jewish social service agency. And here he is, cleaning a park. Here he's volunteering for the Wounded Warriors Paddle Boat Project. Here for a local food pantry. And here he's highlighting former students to show his love and support. Now, this is an everyday thing. And here, these are my favorite, just some snapshots of his Facebook page, students posting thank you notes and love letters to this person who changed their life. And when asked about his decades of amazing teaching, his volunteer work, his love for his students, in a Washington Post article a few years ago honoring one of his many lifetime teaching awards, he responded, "If I'm so good, why is there a kid who needs more help? If I'm so good, why is there a kid cutting class?" Now, the Lamed Vavniks, of course, are too humble to realize the sacred weight of their actions. But what if? What if the Lamed Vavniks aren't just 36 people, holy from the moment they are born until the moment they die? What if, at any given time, there were 36 out there who were righteous, even for a moment, maybe a day, a week, a year, maybe we each have the opportunity to serve in this blessed role once or twice in our short lives. And it's up to us to accept that challenge and that responsibility. Maybe it's not just 36 people, well, 35, including Mr. Link. Maybe it's you, it's me, it's us, everyone together. And I want to tell you another story about the Lamed Vavniks. In 2012, one of Rabbi Kaluzny's rabbinical school classmates, Rabbi Phyllis Summer, learned that her 7-year-old son, Sam, had acute myeloid leukemia. Now, her blog, Ima on the Bima, became this personal, intimate, loving, detailed journey of their family's daily life as they struggled through chemotherapy, hospital stays, good days, bad days, and everything in between. Through this diagnosis, Phyllis learned about the St. Baldrick's Foundation, an organization that raises funds for pediatric cancer research by asking people to shave their heads in exchange for donations. It makes the kids who've lost their hair, like Sam, due to chemo, feel good, and provides much-needed financial support for these specific childhood cancers. St. Baldrick's has raised over $100 million since 2000. Phyllis planned to participate, and she hatched this idea. Could she play on this idea of 36, of the Lamed Vavniks, and find 36 rabbis willing to shave their heads together in order to raise $180,000 toward this cause? 2 weeks after this conversation, Phyllis learned that Sam had relapsed, and she and her husband had to tell their 8-year-old that there were no other treatment options. Sam died that December, 18 months after his diagnosis, surrounded by his family and friends. But soon after, when his parents put out the call for 36 rabbis, 36 people who could, if only for a moment, act as Lamed Vavniks in this world in the honor of this sweet and funny boy, the response was overwhelming. In the end, almost 80 rabbis shaved their heads together on that stage at the rabbinic convention. And in the end, instead of raising $180,000, they raised $1 million. These are Sam's parents and some of his siblings. We try to live our lives to the fullest. We try to be good people, to lift each other up, to protect our planet, to see the humanity in every soul on God's earth, and to love really hard. And while the story of the 36 may or may not be true, I know in my heart that it matters. We live now in a broken world. I don't have to tell any of you that. And sometimes I'm afraid for my children, for the world we're leaving them both physically and figuratively. But I believe that the choices we make, even those small ones, add up. And that if we strive to be righteous, to live our values, to teach our children to do the same, then we'll be okay. So my charge to you this evening is to be a Lamed Vavnik, even if you don't believe you can, especially if you don't believe you can. You just have to try, and it's okay if you fail, because if all of us do our best to walk in the ways of God, and if we support each other along the journey, then together we will make the world a better place, a place for everyone, and that will be enough. Shabbat Shalom.
If you are a tear, then we're Nitzavim. We stand here today and remember the dream. If you are a tear, then we're Nitzavim. We stand here today and remember the dream. If you are a tear, then we're Nitzavim. We stand here today and remember the dream. If you are a tear, we stand here today and remember. La 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 Each one of us must play a part.
Each one of us must heed the call.
Each one of us must seek the truth.
Each one of us is a part of it all.
Each one of us must remember the pain.
Each one of us must find the joy.
Each one of us. Kehila, Kedosha, Kehila, Kedosha, Kehila, Kedosha, Kehila, Kedosha. Each one of of us must start to heal.
Each one of us must sing the song.
Each one of us must do the work.
Each one of us must right the wrong.
Each one of us must build the home.
Each one of us must find the home.
Each one of us.
Each one of us.
Kehila, Kedosha, Kehila, Kedosha, Kehila, Kedosha, Kehila, Kedosha.
It's how we help. It's how we give. It's how we pray. It's how we heal. It's how we live.
It's how we help. It's how we live. It's how we heal. It's how we pray. It's how we give.
If you are a dead and we're Nitzavim, we stand here today and remember the dream. If you are a dead and we're Nitzavim, we stand here today and remember the dream. If you are a dead and we're Nitzavim, we stand here today and remember the dream. If you are a dead and we're Nitzavim, we stand here today.
So to be a Lamed Vavnik, you have to be an exemplar of humility. Missed it by that much. But one man who would not be disqualified by that criterion is our past president, Ed Royal. And we do call him to the bima to address our congregation.
So everybody knows that the rabbi who sermonizes is responsible for the weather. And so I just want to thank her for getting the heat down, because it feels much better outside. Even though it might be raining a little bit, it's nice and cooler. So Shabbat Shalom to all of you. And I'd like to know who's having a busy summer and who's having trouble organizing a busy summer, because if you are, you can join Rabbi Gordon for Mom's Night Out at Hammer and Stain in Bloomfield Hills on Thursday, July 25th at 6 p.m. Notice it's Mom's Night Out because most dads don't know how to use a hammer or stain, but you can be there and help keep your family organized by creating a chalkboard or a chalkboard calendar. Next week at 7:30 p.m., hopefully outdoors, we'll have Shabbat Under the Stars featuring the Laker guest artist Laurie Akers along with Kenneth Lyons-Wright. The following morning at 10:30 is our next senior Shabbat of the summer featuring Cantor Smolash. A complimentary light lunch follows the service. Then on Saturday evening, July 27th, we're having a beautiful Havdalah service filled with song and family togetherness at Marshbank Park. So bring your own picnic, and the event is free, but you must RSVP to let us know how many are coming. For more information about any of these programs, you can check the information table as you leave, or visit the website's calendar, or call the temple office during regular business hours. And on behalf of the officers and the members of the Board of Trustees, let me wish y'all a pleasant Shabbat Shalom.
when 3 rabbis of the Beit Din were meeting with Georgianne Edford to discuss her conversion to Judaism, she mentioned that a turning point was a prayer in our prayer book, coming to services with Jerry and Dee Dee Weinberg. And so that process has now come to a celebration of her conversion to Judaism, and I also understand her birthday as well. And so it is with a great deal of nachas and love that we call Georgianne to the bima, along with her rooting section and cheerleaders, Jerry and Dee Dee, for the honor of opening the Ark, along with all the children who are here, as we turn to page 189 and rise for the adoration.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי ארצות, ולא שמענו כמשפחות אדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, אנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
Please be seated. So I will explain my wardrobe change. But first of all, there's a couple things you might have noticed about us tonight. Mazal tov. All of us are wearing pins supporting our Pride for the LGBTQ community. We are having our first Pride Shabbat tomorrow morning, and we will be inside once again. And if you have children, grandchildren, it is going to be a family experience, and there will be different kinds of crafts and things for the children to do during services. So that's the button. This is my sweatshirt, if you can see. This is the lamed, this is the vav. And it says 36 Shave for the Brave. And these were one of the sweatshirts that they also created in order to raise money for Superman Sam. And I have to say that Rabbi Jen and I talked about the sermon yesterday, and I woke up this morning to a text from Phyllis, the mom. And I wrote her, I said, you won't believe this. We were just talking about Superman Sam, and Jen's talking about him, and it meant a lot to her to know that Temple Israel still remembers Superman Sam. And so, got my sweatshirt. So there are many people in our community that we love and we remember. And we take time to read their names, those who have died in the period of Shloshim: Madeline Bachnick, Leon Kogan, Richard Drazen, Ralph Epstein, Judith Judy Klein-Frank, Fred Garfinkel, Dr. Jeffrey Gorash, Neil Herman, Maury Janowitz, Joan Lesson, Sally Lewis, Cy Lisnoff, Dr. Jeffrey Lowenthal, Bernice Michelin, Louis Pleasant, Barbara Robinson, Julie Silverman Saxey, Morton Schloss, Leah Schneider, Gary Singer, Susan Weinberg, and Sharon Zabel. We also recall the names of those whose yortzites occur on this Shabbat: Herman Barris, Dennis J. Brenner, Lori Haber Buckfire, Ethel Danto, Charlene Dawes, Minna Dubin, Harry Feldman, Henry Gottlieb, Morris Herlick, Dennis Herman, Beatrice Luft, Albert Margolin, Michael McShane, Max Millman, Manny Nagelbush, Beatrice Ransgrapp, Louis Rudin, Marion Rudner, Myra Schloss, Rhoda Seamus, Bessie Seiden, Brenda Weisberg, Sammy Sine, David Greenberg, Roy Levitt, Rose Waldman, Walter Fish, Jeffrey Fish, Beverly Schulman, Theodore Ross, Sanford Bushkoff, Myron Gerber, Alan Israel, Ida Levy, Irving Stoller, Suzanne Knight, Albert Rothenberg, Betty Yoles, Bluma Meyerson, Rudolph Meyerson, Minnie Millman, Henry Halperin, and Ronald Atley. We remember them with love and honor them with words of Kaddish on page 199. Please rise. Yitzkadal v'yitzkadash shemei rabbah, be'alma divrach irutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'b'yomechon u'b'chayei dochol beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'bizman kari v'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah bevorach le'olam le'olmei olmaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitroman v'yitnaseh. V'it hadar, v'it ale, v'it halal, shemei dekudesha, brichu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran ve'alma v'imru, amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. We pray that the source of peace sends peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved among us. Amen.
Our thanks to the remarkable Simone Vitale Band for helping to make this Shabbat so special. And as we prepare to come together over the course of this Shabbat and celebrate each other, may we do so with a sense of peace for everyone and throughout the world as we sing these words of salam.
Hey
Shabbat Shalom. 2, 3, and